Hey folks, Papa Joe here. You hear the hoot owl in the background. Got one that's been flying around the property. That's pretty neat. Uh, you know, a lot of things are going on in our country right now that is just pretty dadgum aggravating. One of the things I wanted to bring up to you is everybody's acting right now like, oh, Trump, oh, Trump. A whole lot of what we've seen in 16, how he's a bad guy. If you listen to the right spins on it, he ain't done nothing right. He dividing the nation. He ain't kept none of his promises. He's just not a good guy any way you spell it. Well, folks, the silent majority came out during the 2016 election. And that was because so many people, now myself, I'm outspoken. I'm not silent. There was a whole lot of people that, let's be honest, they're afraid to say what their political beliefs are, especially if they are a backer of Donald Trump, because they will be attacked so bad verbally, online. The left and the media is so hate-filled. It is pitiful. I have met one person, no, let me rephrase that, two, and both of them go by the name JJ, their initials are JJ, that are leaning left and held a decent conversation without getting mad, without calling names, without the racial slurs, without all the BS that we hear nowadays. However, as I've told you before, I'm a member of that walkaway campaign on Facebook simply because I like reading the stories, the testimonies, and so many people that have let out their thoughts and admitted that they was starting to like Trump or back Trump or leaning right. They have been attacked. They've had their families disown them. Some of them are gay and in a gay community, said that they have been ousted. I mean, it's just ridiculous. If you admit that you're a Trump supporter, then something's got to be wrong with you and you are attacked left to right in between. That's not right, ladies and gentlemen. That ain't right at all. Our country was founded on freedom of belief, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom, period. And now so much of that is people are trying to strip away from us. Why? Why is it that if you and I disagree, it's not okay for you and I to disagree? That is not how this country was founded. That is not how our government was set up. If you disagree with the government or the way the country is being ran, that's why we have a vote, an election, an electoral college, which I hope I can remember to touch on that in a minute. But the silent majority is the average class Americans that are just too busy working, trying to make ends meet. They go out and work hard. They drive an hour to work. They work 9 hours a day counting their break, and an hour back home. They've done ate up 10 hours plus of their day. When they get home, They don't want to do nothing but get a shower, kick their feet up, maybe have a beer, eat a little dinner, play with the kids. They don't want to turn on the TV for Monday Night Football and get lectured about how racist they are, how racist our country is, how terrible our country is. There's a lot of us that still love our country. There's a lot of us that was raised to love and honor our country. There's a lot of us that have lost family trying to defend our way of life here. We don't want to hear it. Your average American don't want to come home tired, dirty, kick back to watch Monday Night Football and watch a bunch of millionaire spoilt-ass college kids kneel, and I know they're out of college, but they're not much out of it, and they're going to take a knee. They're going to have stuff wrote on their helmets to remind people when they zoom in that we're racist. We're not a racist country. We're not. Do we have problems? Of course. Every country in the world has problems. We're one of the nicest nations in the world, if not the. Man, I tell you. Well, in 2016, the sleeping giant awoke. The silent majority. And they came out and voted for a guy with a funny haircut, with an orange complexion, that was not a run-of-the-mill, politician. He wasn't a politician at all. He didn't take no guff from nobody. You attacked him, he attacked you. You swung at him, he swung back. And so many of us kind of like that. So the sleeping giant, the silent majority, they elected this man in 2016 to do a job. Job ain't done yet, folks. Don't cut him short. He's done a lot. Considering that he's had to fight tooth and nail for every inch that he's gained to do the promises made, promises kept. In the beginning, he didn't have no help from nobody. He was fighting both parties and the media. The Never Trumpers and the Just Resist, they still fighting. I personally do not see why anybody would not still back President Trump. He's still got a job to do. We still need to elect him some help. We need to vote out as many Democrats as we can. You need to be talking to people, as many as you can. There's a whole bunch of people that have walked away from the Democratic Party. They said that the Democratic Party gave up on them, that they let them down. I can see that. I can see that. This mail-in ballot nonsense, that's exactly what it is nonsense. I have never seen so much nonsense as I've seen in this last year, these last 9 months. It's plumb ridiculous. When the president first started getting hold of this coronavirus 19 back in January, and he started making his play to help us, to prevent it from getting here, to do what he had to do. What did the left and the media do? They made fun of him, called him names. He was a racist, a xenophobia, which I ain't never figured that one out yet. All kinds of crazy stuff. And what was it? At the end of February, you had one idiot go to Chinatown and she's hugging on people and saying, "Come on down." You had another idiot, he was telling the railways are okay or the subways are okay. Go ahead and ride them. Really? So it got bad. Supposedly. Supposedly. I still don't believe it, but supposedly. It got so bad they closed the country down. Really? Folks, if it was bad enough to see the country being closed down, we should have seen the body bags on TV like we do during the wars. How come during the wars they're quick to show us all these dead people and all the body bags, but during this COVID-19 where we've lost so many people, we didn't see them? Think about it. But Trump was forced to play their game. So he played their game. And he left it up to the states on if they was closing their state down. The states was leaving it, for the most part, to the mayors. Now they want to holler how Trump was handed this booming economy and he blew it. Really? First off, he wasn't handed a booming economy. That's a lie. Point blank, and it's one Joe Biden to tell you. And it's a lie. Trump did bring back a lot of jobs. He created a lot of jobs. He created a good economy. It was one of the best economies that this country had seen in over 50 years. That's a fact. We all was doing pretty good. Until the election year. The election year, the bottom started falling out. And they want to call it Trump's recession. No, it ain't. Trump did not cause this. Trump was an unwilling participant in it. It was heard around the world, wasn't it? It's ridiculous. All this rioting and stuff in the streets, that's Trump's. That's all on Trump. No, it ain't. It doesn't take a whole lot of research for y'all to figure out that all these major cities where all this rioting and looting and they're letting them get by with it and they're not putting a stop to it, cities, they're all Democratic run. Huh. Wonder why that would be. Defund the police. Really? That's the last thing we need to do, ladies and gentlemen. That's just another way that they want to try to set it up for more chaos in the streets. Something else they can try to lay at Trump's feet. Now, we all know who's been crying out for him to defund the police. It ain't Trump. But to them, they'll try to use it against him. This mail-in voting nonsense. The mail-in voting on itself, on the surface, is not bad. If I can't make it to the election office, and I know it, it's a good thing that I can call my office and have them send me a mail-in ballot, absentee ballot, whatever. That's a good thing. But for these cities and counties and states and whoever to just mass mail out all of these ballots is wrong. They're trying to pick on Trump because he's telling you it's wrong. Guess what? It's wrong. They're already having problems with it. They're already finding ballots thrown in the ditch, in the trash. They're already finding ballots that were marked wrong from the sender. And some of these, I can't think of which state it was, they've got a bunch of them that was sent out marked wrong, with wrong names, wrong addresses, wrong everything. And if you return it, fill it out and return it, they're not going to count your vote. Wonder where they lay. Electoral College. There's so many people. And some of these people are in the small towns that the Electoral College was set up to protect. Look, it's real simple. Around our country, we have several large cities. If we did not have the Electoral College, those cities, which is mostly Democrat, their vote is the only one that would count. Me and you out here in rural America, our vote wouldn't count. Period. So our forefathers years ago seen this as a problem. So they set up the Electoral College. And that Electoral College protects you and I. That Electoral College gives you and I a vote. Without it, this country would be ran by the East Coast and the West Coast. No thank you. I know what's on the East Coast and West Coast, and it's not in mine and your favor. It ain't for me. We already have issues with our children being taught wrong. Our children are going through different phases in their life and their education that is teaching them to not like the country, to not like America. Really. I would like to put out a plea to the parents to try to correct that. Unfortunately, a lot of the parents of these children was taught wrong. They wasn't taught to honor and obey. They wasn't taught to love and protect. They wasn't taught about divide and unite. Do y'all realize that right now, the politicians and all the big yuckity yucks, they've got it going the way they want right now. They don't want all of the people to get along. They want to divide us by race, by class, by demographics. They want the city boy against the country boy. They want black against white. They want rich against poor. They want to divide us in every way that they can, and they're doing it. You have Soros that is paying so many people to go out and create problems. Well, that's only trying to egg on the racist nonsense. You have the politicians that are trying to tell you that you're paying more than your fair share and the rich guys are paying less than their fair share. They are dividing us so bad simply because, do you realize that if we all came together, black, white, yellow, brown, green, rich, poor, and in between, city, country, and far away, if we all came together and united, do you realize what a voice we would have? Do you realize how much corruption we could take away from our government? We stand a chance right now, this year, for those that are listening. If you will vote out as many of these Democrats that you can, vote in some Republicans that will back our president. Our president, despite what they're telling you, has nothing really to gain from this other than to leave his grandchildren a better country. That's what I honestly believe he's after. They're going to tell you how much money he's making. Hogwash. No, he ain't. They're going to tell you how much money he's wasting going golfing. Hogwash. I ain't buying it. Oh, but he only paid $750 in taxes. That could be true. It probably is true. There's 2 or 3 problems with that. Is one, from what I read, because I researched it, he had overpaid drastically. And this was the IRS's way of letting him get his money back that he had overpaid, was by cutting his taxes. That's surprising, ain't it? Along with that, the man's a billionaire. Do you think that he don't have the best tax accounts that there are? You and I, every tax year, we try to get every write-off that we can, now don't we? We try to pay as little into our government as we have to, don't we? Tell the truth. How many of you don't even figure your taxes? You just blatantly write the government out a check because you feel so generous. He ain't doing nothing no different than the rest of the world would do, or the country. He's trying to pay as little in as he can. Imagine that. He can afford the people that knows the loopholes. And yet Biden and them want to talk smack about him like he did something wrong. Like he told Biden the other night, you made them loopholes that I used to pay less taxes. And while we're talking about Biden, one serious question I have about him, and if anybody could answer it, please do. Do it respectfully to me and Biden. The man's been in office for damn near 50 years. What has he done? Name anything that he's really done for our nation in a good way. I think his tax stuff said that he filed $1 million income for last year. Really? His wife put down that she's a teacher or substitute teacher or something. They make okay money. Let's say she's at top of her board in her area over there. She might make $100,000 a year. That's a guess. Biden as a senator What does he make a year? Now add them two together. How'd that come up to $1 million? How much interest does he have? Okay, if he's got a business that's making him money off of a teacher's income and a senator's income, how did he start that business? Better yet, if he's making that much profit off of it, why is he a senator? Questions I can't answer, but they're questions that I ask. Our president's still got a job to do. We need to help him do it. We really do. He's not done. We elected him in almost 4 years ago to do a job. He's been working real hard on it. He's done better than presidents for a long time. Let's let him do his job. Let's vote him in. Trump 2020, all the way. Biden's going to wreck us. Biden's a train wreck. Said it before and I'll say it again. If Biden gets elected, he will run this country and he won't even run it. He'll be a puppet. But he'll be president for 6 months or less. And then he'll be out of office and Harris will be in. And that woman should scare you. Just a few thoughts from Papa Joe. Y'all remember, God loves you, so do I. I love my country. I want him to bless our country again. I want him to bless our president. I hope you're praying for both. For the president and our country. Y'all have a good evening. Think about it. Bye.